everyone, Witch Boy Columbus here. I am doing YouTube Pagan Challenge 27? I think it's 27. This week we're discussing the question, I'll put it in the description. It is, do you have a spirit, power, or familiar animal? And I would say I do. Now, just like with my path, it's evolved over time. For a while, I had physical cats, and I raised them since they were kittens, and they were brothers, and they were really awesome, and I was really connected to them. But they got older. I mean, they were like 12 or 14, and so they got sick and passed away. But I'm gonna sit down. Sorry, I'm walking in the park and gonna sit down. So but since then I've received a lot of messages from crows, and I've talked about this on my channel a lot, that I have like 3 that come over, and for a while it was, I think they were trying to get me to notice them, and this has been a few years back, but I had made a video about it where they followed me around. There's 3, and you know, it could have been coincidence that there was always 3, but they were up at my work, which is nowhere near where I live. I mean, it's probably 15 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes on the freeway. Probably 20. Maybe not that much, maybe 15. But it's far. I mean, it's far from where I live. I just happen to live right near a freeway. And so I was at work and I heard like the caw of them. And when there's people coming. When I heard the caw, I kept hearing it, and then I didn't really pay attention at first. And then I looked up, and the parking lot was like an L. Like the building is like an L, right? And the parking lot fit into that L. So there was one on this point, one over here, and one over here. Because the building ended on the thumb, on my thumb. I can't show you, but you know what I mean? So the side that went out towards the street, because we were set off the street, that's where it ended, and that's where one was on the other corner. And then later, either that day or the next day, I was at the gym, which is kind of situated the same way, and the same thing. I heard the cawing, and I stopped because I was like, that is really weird, and looked up, and there was 3, and they were all facing me. It wasn't like they were just 3 together. They were like talking, and then they were at my house, and like they were outside my house in the tree, and then the next day they were on my lawn, and then it was really weird. So I think that, I mean, it's really cool. I shouldn't say it's weird. But I think that there was like, hello, trying to get my attention, and they did a damn good job. So, oh, there's doggy running around the water. That's polluted. I don't know if you can see him. It's kind of far back there. He's right there underneath that bridge. See him? Up over there. I can't hold my phone. Sorry. If I have this new there, right there where that person is. Right there. I have this new phone. It's the Galaxy 7 Edge, and I like it. I love the phone, but it's really hard to record on because you touch things. So yeah, so just like I said, just like with my path evolving, I think that over time things change, or other things make themselves known to you, and mine was the crow. I also feel like it was a message. Now, I know I've talked about my concepts of deity and whatever, so I know most would probably say that it was, I just walked right into a spider web. I know most would say that it was a message from the Morrigan, and that may be, but I think because of my concept, I take it as a universal message and with the attributes of what we would call the Morrigan. Not to rain on anyone's day or anything, but that's just how I think of it, you know what I mean? I would like it to be, you know, a direct message like, hey, I just got a tweet from the Morrigan, but that's not the way it goes. So I think over time it does change. I'm really connected to the wolf, but not as much as the crow. I just really like them. And I know they're migratory birds, and here it's like illegal to even seek one out. And so I don't want to do that. Plus I don't want to take them out of their habitat or anything like that. But crows and ravens have both are very smart, and both have been known to respond to someone if they're to respond to someone if they do I have a spider on me? I do. Like, I think it was because I was not in the middle of trees. I think it was flying. You know how they spin a web and then they kind of drift on it, and I probably walked right into it. It's probably sitting on me somewhere. I'm not freaked out by spiders. I just don't necessarily want them on me. So I just think that over time, with your path and the needs and what the universe needs, your animal can change, and it can be either of the three. It could be a spirit animal, a power animal, or a familiar. I think they're all kind of the same, but they're all kind of different. And in my head, the way I think about it is that, like, a spirit would be the attributes of the animal are your attributes. That's how I think about that. Like, when you would hear in the United States anyway, a Native American say you have the spirit of the eagle, because you like to soar and I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes now. You like to soar and whatever, or you have the spirit of the bear, or okay, I gotta get out of here. Mosquitoes have registered that I'm here. Or like the spirit of the bear, or the spirit of the ox, you know what I mean? Something like that. So you're taking on attributes of that. That to me is like more spirit. A power animal is maybe one you invoke. You invoke that spirit or that energy into your workings. And a familiar is something more of that you're familiar with, that, you know what I mean, that connects to you. So I have moved to a new location because the mosquitoes down by the water were killing me. They weren't killing me, but you know what I mean. So that is the way I think about it in my head. I don't know if that's the correct definition or the full definition. I'm just giving you how I would think about it in my head if someone said spirit, power, and familiar. So I think about it like I stated earlier, and I think that some can be all three, or just two, or just one, depending on what is needed, whether it's your needs or the universe. Because I think that I needed the crow to deliver a message. I do think that they're messengers. I do think that they're not always messengers. I don't think it's like their everyday mission. But I think that sometimes that, especially since how they were showing up in threes, and they were showing up at everywhere I was, that I really needed to get to take a message. And how you interpret that is another story. I'm still kind of up in air of why I would have received that message. But I have a good idea what it was about. I was really having a lot of dilemma and stuff in my personal, not with my personal life, not like that, but personally with a roommate that I have, and we were trying to decide whether or not we should ask him to move out and all that kind of stuff. So I was really torn because I really like him, but he's just, anyway, that's another whole story. He's just not good, and for himself. So we were debating on that, and I think I needed a message to let me know, and I think that sometimes they were letting me know that something that I needed to watch out, that I needed to be on the lookout and on the watch, and not to get complacent, because I think that they were giving me a message of detriment by him. Not anything against me, but he's just put himself in a bind, and that affects everybody. So that's one instance of what I consider. And so, yes, I do have all three. And one, like I said, I stated how I think about them and my definitions of it. And so that's how I would associate my crow currently. Is actually, I would consider them all three. But before, like my cats, I would consider just familiars. And when I was younger, I would have considered it my spirit animal, and maybe even power. But that's changed. So, yeah. So now you've listened to me rattled on while I walked around the entire park. And I want to thank everyone for watching. It's getting really bright. And I will talk to you soon. Blessed be.